Let's see. And we should be connecting to YouTube. Let's go. Fuck yeah. Okay, throwing those. Okay, I'm live. Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna get out of that.
But life is so short that you can't waste even a day subscribing to what someone thinks you can do versus knowing what you can do.
You guys are born at a very awesome, distinct time. Like, I think that this is the Renaissance. Don't get sort of trapped into like this everything sucks, the world is like coming to an end.
Don't get trapped. Don't let the higher ups trap you in the mousetrap. Don't let the government trap you in the mousetrap. It's funny, I was talking to my pops the other day, and he said this has always been a thing from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They always try to instill fear so that you get trapped in the rat race. Don't get trapped. Don't get brainwashed.
That's just like an internal mechanism basically to chill.
The name of the brand should equally tie back into the brand, what it means. Or it doesn't have to, but you should be able to, in one sentence, get someone's brain to go, aha, I get it.
It's crazy. The amount of game I've given friends and people, like, I tell people all the time, if you know me, if you're a close friend of mine, all I do is give free game. The number one thing I say all the time is if you can't describe it in one sentence, it's a dub.
You know, and then the typeface, like what's your logo look like? What's the label look like? What would the garment be? What's the color of the brand? You know, all these sorts of things make great brand architecture. Of course, you can not have them, but if you look at, say, Rick Owens, right? You can feel the typeface, you know the label, you know the hang.
It's a world, it's a universe. You're building a world, you're building a universe that this has to belong to. Everything has to be cohesive.
Tag, and you know the store, and you know that the music in the store, what it would take to feel like. You know, Sam.
Like Virgil's a genius for verbal, like putting all this to words so early on. Godfather of this shit.
Has that with a cold wall, like the sound, you can hear the sound, you can see the wax label. I know the typography because it's linked to that manifesto, and it's linked to his premise. That.
So he said a cold wall. This is the brand he's talking about. Clean. They're building a universe, you know? The Solomon ACS Pro. This is really dope. I like their stuff. Cold Wall. Like, yeah, this is fashion, but it also, it feels like a world that they built, you know? Brand. British Industrial Sportswear. So you know what it is right away. It's a British sportswear brand inspired by the legacy of national industry. Explicitly referencing domestic cultural frameworks, a cold wall utilizes experimental materials derived from performance wear and industrial palettes inspired by post-war Britain to subvert classic menswear staples. Over the past decade, a cold wall has cemented its positioning through a sustained commitment to exploring subcultural movements and collaborating across disciplines. By working closely with emerging talents and established names alike, the brand has built a platform that merges design with broader social dialogue. Clean. That's what they do. This is what they do. You get it right away. Right away you understand what this brand's about. I go back to shop. everything feels very on brand, industrial. I love it. Okay, cool. Let's go back. Who started a cold wall? Samuel Ross. So that's who Virgil's talking about right now. So it's a British brand designed by Samuel Ross. So shout out Samuel Ross.
That is great brand architecture that sets you up to win as you're building brand equity.
And it's things that I've had to learn. I basically work at a feverish pace.
So what he's saying right there too is like if you architect the brand properly from the jump, and this pertains to art, clothing, everything. You create a universe and then you just build on that universe. Eventually, the world's going to be so big that people are going to wonder like, how did he even like get to this place? How did she even get to this place? That's where you're aiming for, right? But without that foundation, you can't build the high rise.
In a self-serving way, just to find my signature. Like, what's my DNA? Every architect, designer, artist that I look up to, whether they were doing period paintings or buildings in their early career to the end of their career, there's basically a through line.
A through line. I say this a lot, actually, too. A through line is so important.
So what I would challenge you in your work, no matter what, is go back. Go back to when you were like, your earliest memories or the way that you thought to organize something, the way you thought to organize your closet, or what colors were your favorite. Back in that sort of like early rationale before you sort of learned too much, that's when your DNA started.
My word of advice is you have to, I think
something you said there that's so important too, like before you learn too much. Sometimes like academia is good and it's good to learn. But there's also a point where you have to apply it as well. You have to do. Like you could read as many books as you want and be the most intellectual person, but that's gonna almost fake you out of doing things. Like you have to, there's a balance. So always do, always produce, make, execute relentlessly.
Landscape is different even today versus when I signed 3 years ago. And I feel like what put me in position to be is I was like, Off-White was my resume. It was a business plan. It was the way that I carried myself. It was the way that I organized my shows. And basically I would look at every season to be like, this is what, if I were at a house, this is what you guys should be doing. And I'll tell you that works 100% of the time.
So he's basically saying like, this is a blueprint for, it's funny because it's very similar to what I do with Unwrap and Steal. That's the blueprint to marketing your art. And I'm giving the blueprint out away for free. Whether people recognize that or not, that's up to you. But brands will see that and hire me because of that. It really does happen, honestly. Labels hire me, brands hire me, all that because of Unwrap and Steal.
Because when you see a young designer fostering a community, building an identity, selling, and...
See, I paused on that. Selling. It's very... Money is important. Like, unless you're like complete, like living in the woods and not even a part of society, you have to pay bills. There's rent to pay. There's rent due. Like, money is important. So the people that tell you that it's not are just lying to themselves.
Moving in a chic and respectable way, when they're looking to put a new position, they're going to be like, wait a second, this person has been, instead of in a meeting, you're showing your scenario. Like I'm designing this candle, right? Or like the student or the classroom is this. Like if I put this candle in an all-white gallery space, it looks like a piece of art. If I put it on like in a garage, it looks like a piece of trash.
Whoa. So this is very Duchamp, and I'm going to dive into Duchamp in 2 seconds, but a candle, that candle right there that he's holding in his hand, if he puts that in a garage, it looks like trash. If he puts it in a white wall gallery, it looks like art.
Like someone would throw it away. It's dented.
So the environment is the most important.
And I think I often use this analogy in design. I could either design the candle and spend a lot of time like telling you about the candle, or I could just design the room that it sits in.
I spend a tremendous amount of time educating and absorbing and traveling and being a part of contemporary culture. Like this work that we do, we can't do from afar. It takes strong opinions, it takes a discerning eye. And so as a student, read the room, look at your work and then look at your contemporaries.
Like, has the internet changed that? Has social media changed that? Like, do you still have to be in close proximity? I don't know.
People in your classroom.
Or does it live on the internet? Can you be in like internet cells and, really influence the world through that?
Look at people in professional practice.
Cool what he's saying though.
And challenge yourself to ask the hard questions like what makes it different. And first rate is just the work itself, like a shoe, a sneaker, a painting. The level that I encourage young students to operate is to crumple up all the work and throw it in the trash. Like, what's the actual idea? Why does it have to exist? And if you can answer, those sorts of like tier up questions, all of a sudden, anything you think of falls into this relevant bucket, and things start to synergize in a different way. And I think that's the one thing I encourage most with like young thinking is like these industries we're in, they're kind of glamorous, they're fun. You could just look at the end result, be inspired, and make a version of it. And what this show is about is trying to sort of, within the chaos, is present the rationale alongside the different artifacts.
Response to
I mean, Virgil's a legend, man. Let's just be honest. Like,
campaigns and images and all that, like we know what that looks like. I think that the future of fashion, like fashion's only defined by 20%. I think the rest of the 80% is when we really embrace and celebrate like what's happening in the Middle East and Asia and Africa, but it has to be in a way that we haven't seen in the past.
It was the same.
There's some contradicting things because one thing that he always says is like, I think he has this like 3% rule where you change it 3%. But then he's saying it has to be different. I see what he's saying though.
As on this one, there's another Jim Joe Air Force One of one art piece. Is my friend basically who inspires me. So I have mentors that are like dead. I have mentors that are 30 years old.
So Jim Joe, I guess that's his like that's his friend who introduced him into the graffiti world. Shout out Jim Joe. I don't know too much about Jim Joe, to be honest. But what was some of his, I guess if you're reading it, it's too late. That's one of his big artworks. But I remember going to New York all the time and seeing his stuff in the street always. I think we'll do a deep dive on Jim Joe for sure. Oh, here's the hole again. This is 14 years ago. The hole comes up again. Actually, it's so funny because this is actually the, not to but this is the gallery that is being accused of not paying artists right now again. I know we dived into that last stream, but let me just find this post by this person. 1 second. No, not that. Okay. Let's see this. And your work sells, so price for your largest framework on paper at 99 cents. It's so and so dollars. Let me add it to my form. Word, thank you. I was just seeing sold. Oh wow, amazing. Paid. Are you cool for the collector to take with? So I'm assuming this is like someone that he's communicating with or talking to. So here's my PayPal address. So pokey at the hole.com. This is my address. Hi, I'm just following up on this. Wanted to make sure I didn't get lost in the system. I believe I have 2 pieces sold from the show. Thanks. Hi, Hunts. Thanks for your patience. We were dealing with a complex refund situation here, as the second buyer had tried to purchase your work after it sold. Then you find out the gallery is being sued. Oh, damn. New York Gallery The Hole is sued by artists for nearly $50,000 in outstanding payments. Damn. That's wild. I mean, who owns The Hole? Let's just pull this up real quick. Okay. So the Hole Contemporary Art Gallery in New York, which also had a Los Angeles space, is run by Kathy Grayson. She founded the gallery in 2010 after she worked as a director at Deitch Projects. Kathy Grayson is known for discovering and promoting emerging contemporary artists, organizing energetic group shows with the downtown New York feel, building the Hole to one of the more recognizable galleries for younger contemporary art over the past decade. Like, I'm sure they've done a lot of really dope stuff too, you know, but I think it's good to look into this stuff and see what's happening. The gallery's main locations are currently Bowery, New York, and Tribeca, New York. The Los Angeles location that opened in 2022 has since closed as the gallery refocused on its New York operations. Damn, I mean, LA's popping right now. They got to pop one up. I mean, after the 99-cent store, I think they might have lost a little bit of trust, but were you asking about the whole? Okay, so Kathy Grayson. Who is Kathy Grayson? So Kathy Grayson. I mean, let's see if there's like a Kathy Grayson interview. I mean, there's not much about her.
I'm Kathy Grayson. I run a gallery called The Hole.
Now, could you define your gallery in one sentence?
One sentence. We have 2 galleries in New York, and we just opened one in Los Angeles. And after 12
Guys, do you think she did it? Do you think she stole the money? I don't know. It's hard to say, but let's keep watching this.
years, we're known as a gallery that discovers top emerging art from around the world.
Thank you, Kathy. And now, what is the highlight of?
I mean, this video is dog shit. So whoever filmed this interview, oh my god, this is bad. This isn't even that old either. It's like 3 years ago.
It was today.
I wanted to feature one of my favorite artists.
Like, how long do you think they stood there in between questions? Do you think like they asked her and then like look how different the film, like, it's so crazy. Like, look at this. It's almost like she wasn't even there. Like, she wasn't even facing her. Something happening with her eye there. That's crazy.
I wanted to feature one of my favorite artists that we represent, Alex Gardner. He's an artist from Long Beach, California, and he paints sort of surrealist figure
I mean, cool stuff, you know?
paintings in ambiguous backgrounds with sort of ambiguous gender, ambiguous motives. He paints with acrylic, and he uses it in a really interesting way with layers and layers of watered down acrylic. He spends a huge amount of time on each.
So I find this fascinating. So she's the head of a very prestigious gallery, but then like I just hate when people talk about like the materials. Oh, it's in acrylic, and like if I'm buying a piece of art, I don't give a fuck what it's painted. It could be finger painted as long as it speaks to me. But like what, like who is the artist? Like who is the person? Again, going back to Virgil, like world building.
Each piece.
Like I want to know about like the like after seeing the art, after discovering it and being like, oh, that's cool. Now tell me about the artist. Tell me about the.
Essentially, it's like using acrylics wrong, and it creates beautiful effects. The gesso is sanded, and so the.
It's like being like, oh, you know, my book has 300 pages, and like Harry Potter has 300 pages, 310 pages, and 18,000 words. Like when they're trying to sell the book. Come on, guys.
First few
Surprises me, honestly.
sink into almost like a ceramic finish.
Well, maybe
if you get up close.
I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She probably got caught off guard this day, and she's not like the one who like actually sells the art, but.
So you can see both all of his brush strokes and the different reflective aspects of the work that comes from this unique use of acrylic paint.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, is that the only video? Kathy Grayson? I mean, these art, I'm telling you, we're going to pop this art. We're going to pop this live stream off. We're going to get a bunch of these art people, these art curators and dealers and all that stuff out of their shell. Why is there nothing? There's literally nothing on YouTube with her. The whole. Oh, the A-Life art machine. I mean, she's done some dope stuff. Like 15 years ago, 15 years ago was like her prime, it seems. Because that's when she really popped off a lot of these like really dope collaborations. It seems like she was in the New York scene. Super heavy. But yeah, now allegedly, New York Gallery The Hole is sued by artists for nearly $50,000. So Charlotte Grusing, thank you for your email. As of June 1st, I'm no longer working at The Hole full time. This email remains active for a few special projects only. Please reach out to the team for assistance. So there you go. The owner, operation, and then Peter, bookkeeper. Operations Tyler at The Hole. I'm following up on my payment for the sales at the 99-cent show. Last I heard from Charlotte almost 2 months ago was that it is with the bookkeeper and being processed. I sent her a follow-up last week and got this auto reply, so emailing the group now. I'm really just looking for any kind of acknowledgement on this matter. Thanks. I'm in only most on Wednesdays, but occasionally available at other times to respond to emails and other. So there's like an auto reply. Far from the only one. Artists allege they got ripped off. A number of artists. Huh. Let's see this. Wait up. Okay, let's see this. So, remember the 99-cent store? Only arts show? Artists allege they got ripped off. Over 150 days since the short-lived exhibit concluded, one of the participating artists sits disappointed, betrayed, and 1248 short of sold artwork. I mean, is that the only artist that is claiming? I mean, look, to me, I need to see more evidence. Like, I understand, like, you sold artwork and stuff, but like, it was pretty chaotic that night, you know, like people were doing graffiti and this and that. It's a very like unique art show. I just need to see more evidence. As it comes out, we'll cover it, but for now, it's pretty hard to like find anything about these things. But yeah, Jim Joe.
I want to.
So he's a very anonymous artist, so there's not a lot that you're gonna see like interview wise probably about him, but I mean, I'm gonna end this stream in a bit, so I'm not gonna go super deep into that. I'm just gonna like keep listening to this advice from Virgil.
Older than me, but I have mentors that are like 10 years younger than me, and he's the friend.
We'll do a full deep dive on Jim Joe tomorrow.
Friend of mine that sort of gave me the sort of nudge to just like write on things and sort of like don't be precious, and I think this embodies that.
Don't be precious. I like that.
He like grabbed it and then just gave this back to me, and I was like, this is from Dover Street. He just took it off the shelf and like drew it and then put it back, and I was like, this is why I make stuff.
From Dover Street. Wow. So Dover Street has a few locations around the world, and I guess this is where he had. It's not clear if like he took the shoe off the shelf or it was like one of Virgil's designs.
You know, it's to sort of spark an idea. Like, I'll pass these around so you can guys like steal them, and I'll find you for sure. Kid with the Og hat. But I think it's important not to be precious. That's what this whole thing is. Like Nike, another dream project for me, and I was like, I have to hit this out of the park.
Don't be too precious. Like,
and
again, that ties back into the whole like, you know, studying too much. Don't study too much. Just do.
All the architecture kids can sort of catch a vibe. A lot of this is like model making. That's where this is at the same time that I came up with that whole putting sculpture on a bag, where that was like just me finding sort of new space. And that's when I was like, you know, a shoe isn't a shoe to me. Like, I'm not approaching it as a shoe. And I think maybe that's why I found a little bit of like open space, is that I was just looking at it like an object. You can choose to wear it on your shoe. And that's kind of where sneaker culture had gone. Like, these just sit above like kids' beds, or they sit somewhere, you know, and they think they sit in boxes still. And I wanted to,
again, like, where is it being shown? Where's it being presented? It's really interesting what Virgil says here. He's saying like the sneaker isn't actually, a lot of the times it's not even worn. It's shown as almost like a sculpture, like an art piece. And even if it's worn, it still has to be designed as a sculpture, as an art piece.
to like feel like they were already used when you got them. They're still precious, but they seem like objects. So it's like I have this brand Off-White only to tell stories. Like, I don't have it to do traditional fashion because I don't know that. You know, I started from that Pyrex, like a hoodie with a Caravaggio image, but it, like I would think and I promote, it's like I was never going to be limited by hoodies and t-shirts, no matter how much it.
By the way, Pyrex Caravaggio, we have to see that. So he's talking about this one, I think. Maybe this one. So That's the Pyrex Caravaggio. On the back was this. It might not look like the best now, but it was revolutionary at the time for sure.
It made sense. You can imagine how much advice that I had gotten. It's like, hey, just do that.
Like no one was doing this at the time. No one was like, oh, I'm gonna take like Pyrex, like the thing that they make crack with, you know, and like it's just it's insane. 23, I guess, like maybe something to do with Jordan, Michael Jordan.
And it's like, now I want to draw a line between that and the opposite, and that's with the zigzag. So now I'm free to sort of like articulate stories.
Interesting.
Also have to have mentors, like dead or alive. You have to sort of connect with some body of work or someone who formulated a thought and an aesthetic, and then build yours upon that. What most people won't tell you is that the people that you look up to didn't invent it themselves. You know, everyone has this sort of like, I call it like getting your brain reprogrammed. Like once.
It's so funny. I always say this: nothing is original, and whoever thinks that their stuff is so original that they're the first one to do it, oh, I can't stand those people. But anyways, continue.
You sort of learn a thought process, you can actually see yourself in that and add to it. And so obviously I have a mentor, I have a sort of thought process and aesthetic that I love, but then once you learn the ethos of why you love the aesthetic, you dig deeper, and then you know how to turn the wheel left or right. So I have mentors that are like dead. I have mentors that are 30 years older than me, but I have mentors that are like 10 years younger than me.
My friends, my community, I was like, I'm only going to put 50% of my effort into school, quote unquote school, and I'm going to raise my interests up 50% to actively treat them equal. That's when I started DJing. That's why hip hop and music. I was like, that's not low. That's not what I do DJing. That's why 50% of my effort into school, quote unquote school, and I'm going to raise my interests up 50% to actively treat them equal. That's when I started DJing. That's why hip hop and music.
Interest in learning, I guess, is what he
I
said.
was like, that's not low. That's not what I do outside of school. That's what I do. That's what I'm into, skateboarding. And literally to get to where I'm at today, if I hadn't spent so much time on that other 50%, being curious about art and learning things that weren't on my curriculum, I wouldn't sit before you today. There was a farmer's market that my roommate and I...
Being interested, you know, actually being a nerd is the most important thing to becoming a massive artist.
We were getting, like, we weren't eating fast food. He was like, I want to be a chef. And I was like, you're my roommate. Let's do this. So my classroom just kept getting bigger. You know, that's why I travel. That's why I don't see a limit between Paris and Chicago. It's like, I live here, but no, that's not, there's no limit. And I think that young people, I know it's hard, it's lofty goals to be like, don't believe in, abolish the stereotype and don't believe the box that they put you in. But life is so short that you can't waste even a day subscribing to what someone thinks you can do versus knowing what you can do. And that's like the switch. It's like the switch in your head is if you can get to a place where you can act on that in the next hour after we're done speaking, I guarantee you it's a domino effect. Everything just starts like, sort of like.
100%. Like even with this new venture I'm doing right now, I said, I'm going to make a toy. I'm going to make this toy. I've been working on a toy design for years now. Not that I was like actively working on it, but I was throwing ideas at the wall and it just didn't feel right yet until recently I hit the idea and I hit it right on the nail. What's the expression? Nail on the head. My bad. But yeah, basically I can't, like, because I believed. I just believed. And I believed that there was no limit. I'd always go to Toys R Us and I'd play with, you know, toys, and I used to collect toys and stuff and anime toys and Spawn toys. And I was always into figurines. But you would never think as a kid like, oh, like how is this made? And then you start getting more curious, but it's crazy.
You know, obliterating itself away.
you guys are born at a very awesome, distinct time. Like, I think that this is the Renaissance. Don't get sort of trapped into like this everything sucks, the world is like coming to an end. That's just like an internal mechanism basically to chill.
You know, because I don't believe in skipping steps, and like if you want to be in museums, you should be finding someone who works here and like begging to be their mentor. The idea is to work hard, do the 10,000 hours, and I think people think working hard is like thinking hard. I mean like actually working hard. Yeah. Like you can imagine what my output is, how many hours I spend. When I got here, who was it? Erin? Was she around? Was like, no, she ran away. But she was like, how can you have a conversation and be on your phone at the same time? And it's like, that's what got me here, is literally doing two things at the same time. And I get that the whole world shouldn't do that, like work at the pace, but find something that you're diehard and passionate about, not something that you do 9 to 5 and then you're like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna go get dinner with my friends. Like that's more important. It's like anyone's name that you can reference, Warhol, Lagerfeld, Marc Jacobs, Steve Jobs. The reason why those one-word names reference a whole body of work is that they tirelessly like dedicated their life to that. Duchamp, like these are
Duchamp. We're gonna dive into him too.
There are people that have. You don't have to do that. That's just the path that I'm on.
Whatever is happening culturally, you talked about just the carnivals that are happening for 300 years and that sort of synergy that exists on that specific day, that exists within that sort of context. And obviously, carnival in UK and Notting Hill means something completely different, but your perspective on it through all the hours that you spend on a saxophone or a clarinet, boiling down to some words that leave less sort of ambiguity. And it falls in the same, every friend that I find along my travels, along my lifetime that I believe is giving valuable information, I encourage them to produce work. Too often there's in contemporary society, there's this sort of this knowledge buildup, and then there's this like fear of executing or putting it out in
fear of executing 100%. That so many beautiful careers have died because they just don't do. Like so many amazing thinkers that I've met, they have amazing ideas and they just don't do it. They just don't execute.
Abundance, especially within Black production, and just in general, it doesn't matter the race. There's too many critics and not enough creators. This was my
too many critics and not enough creators. Write that shit down. Don't even write it down. Just go and make some shit.
Domino effect. I was just really into Caravaggio, like to the point where me as a creative person didn't realize you could invent. And that's what, this painting represents to me. It's, honestly, I just put this up here to have it up at Harvard and someday. Just trying to make this long-winded vibe. But this is like my domino effect. Like, I hadn't ever overthought it. Do you know what I mean? I just made this video, screen printed some shirts, and gave them to friends. And then
screen printed some shirts, gave them to friends. That's it.
That's literally why I'm standing here. A random sweatshirt and a photo from a book that I liked. And basically it's a 2-line poem on the back that sort of reads like a jersey. And it's like, it's super seminal for me, and I think it's important. If you, amongst all your studies, amongst like your 9 to 5, all these kids like tuning in on live stream or whatever, like if you just force yourself to do the one project that you believe in and then it exists, that's going to be the one that's going to like lead you on your career, not necessarily the practical ones.
Let's hear that one more time.
That sort of reads like a jersey, and it's like it's super seminal for me, and I think it's important. If you, amongst all your studies, amongst like your 9 to 5, all these kids like tuning in on live stream or whatever, like if you just force yourself to do the one project that you believe in and then it exists.
You just force yourself to do it, the one project that you believe in, and then it exists. Yo, Virgil drops bars.
That's going to be the one that's going to like lead you on your career, not necessarily the practical ones. So that's just a showcase of what, you know, I believe that everyone should do.
When it comes to self-expression, especially in a creative atmosphere, those things that hold you back from sort of executing on your dream are myths.
It's in here, right?
It's in your head. There's actually no consequence. And that's, you know, it took me that sort of...
There's no consequence to it.
Are myths.
It's in here, right?
Everyone should do.
When it comes to self-expression, especially in a creative atmosphere, those things that hold you back from sort of executing on your...
Yeah, those things that hold you back, like you might be in your head about something.
Dream are myths.
They're myths.
It's in here, right?
It's in your head. There's actually no consequence. And that's, you know, it took me that sort of period to like question myself and be like, am I going to believe in the myth that I can't be a designer on the highest level? Am I going to believe that I'm supposed to make printed t-shirts that are called streetwear? Or am I supposed to believe that I'm only going to DJ clubs that are willing to pay me whatever and to play whenever? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to keep doing it for a long period of time until the one opportunity that comes across say yes or no. And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to show up on time. I'm going to do my best. And then that's going to lead to some other opportunities. And I hope that through my narrative, people see that in themselves, that anything is achievable and there's different genres are just made to be jumped over.
Legitimately, nothing in the world is more valuable than conversation, and that it's archived.
Yeah. Nothing's more valuable than conversation that's archived.
You know, that it doesn't float away, you know? Like, that's why I'm going to tell you to hit save on this video afterwards. And I think I hit save. You know, we got it saved, but I think that these aren't casual conversations, you know? This is something that could hopefully like spur on change.
Big. I love that. On that note, guys, I'm going to get some Z's, have an early morning tomorrow. Mad love.